Well, before we start with the Valverde thing and Ramon's information from this morning, which is incredible, let me show you, because I'm also going to talk about him, this image of Mbappe that he decided to post on social media today with a purpose in mind, not just by chance, like, oh, look, I look good here at the gym, I'm going to upload a photo, right? He does everything with a purpose, absolutely everything. He measures everything down to the last detail. Today is a day off that Barbalo gave his guys because, well, the effort, the season, yesterday's big game, all of that. And he said, this is my chance. I'm going to go train. Some might say, no, don't get too clever, because maybe they told him to go recover, like when he went to recover in Italy with his girl, right? It's the same thing. Honestly, I'm just like the Real Madrid locker room, which is something Miguel Serrano mentioned the other day. And now Ramon and a lot of people are saying it. Nobody trusts anyone there. Nobody trusts anyone there. Anyway, what's happening with Valverde is serious. What's happening with this guy is dangerous. All right, let's get started. Let's start with what's happening with Valverde. This is the information from Ramon from a little while ago. Whenever my good friend Ramon says something like this, it's always something really messed up inside the Real Madrid locker room. It's because it's already something that's very established there. He's talking about influential players in the club's locker room who are asking Florentino Perez, who are asking the club's management for Valverde to leave this summer. It's a very delicate issue to handle because of Valverde's history at Madrid, because it's true. And as Ramon mentioned in his video, Valverde has a contract and, well, it's not going to be easy to get him out, but he could be made available for transfer. We said the other day that with the $500,000 fine for each of them, for Valverde and Tchouaméni, that wasn't the end of it. We'll have to see what the club tries to do this summer. It's true that I think it's easier to let Tchouaméni go because Tchouaméni's contract ends sooner. I think in 2028, he has a very good reputation in England, in the Premier League, absolutely, in other leagues too, of course, but especially in the Premier League. And I think it would be easier. But yes, Ramon says this, just to be clear, in parentheses, the other day, Atico Serrano was already talking about it, taking it for granted that Madrid was going to sell Valverde this summer, and they were already talking about this, that in the locker room, well, it's been talked about. And not just him, other colleagues from the press have also been talking about it, many of whom you don't really like. When there's a lot of buzz and comments like that, I always tell you the same thing. Where there's smoke, there's fire, right? And that in that locker room, Valverde is starting to be, well, not starting, he's already been seen this year with very muy little leadership as a captain, because if he were just a regular player, it would already be bad, of course, but being a captain makes it even worse. I mean, how bad must it be that inside that locker room, where only 2 or 3 players are really mature, to be honest, and well, intelligent, etc., how bad must it be for them to see this guy as a threat and for them to have gotten alarmed, as it seems they have, because of what he's been doing this year? Things we've seen him do publicly, like not warming up in Almaty, confronting more than Xavi Alonso himself, according to what Ramon says, people from Xavi Alonso's staff at the time. And, well, the last thing, as captain, having a clash with a teammate. You can have it one day, but the next day, adding more fuel to the fire, well, that's a very worrying thing. Well, there are players with nightmares. Would they be asking the club for Valverde to leave this summer? And this is Ramon's information. I'm going to say something that's just my opinion and a little bit from the outside. Look, I don't think Valverde is a bad guy. But I think he has just a bit, if you know what I mean, of emotional imbalance. He has a bit of emotional imbalance. I think he's the kind of guy who explodes, who loses his head, and of course, if he stays. He shouldn't be captain. For that, they would have to change the way the captaincy is assigned at Real Madrid and stop doing it based on seniority. As we've already mentioned in one of our videos, the other day, not long ago, in a regular match at the Bernabeu, one of those before we started messing things up for the umpteenth time this season, Madrid won easily. and he kicked the fridge there, and people started looking at him while he was talking, like, what's this guy doing? So there have been several this season, and he had some in previous seasons too, although later he managed to control it a little bit. I'm moving away from the sports side because we're talking about Valverde, who this year played a historic match with 3 goals against City. Historic. I know that as a footballer, I think this player is a powerhouse. We've always said that. But maybe it's not very healthy to have him in the locker room for 2 reasons. Because he's going to have to coexist with Chouameni if Chouameni isn't sold. Because who can guarantee they won't fight again? Or who can guarantee it's very important to have a cohesive locker room? The other day, we discussed how, during the Quinta del Buitre, Michel and Hugo Sanchez communicated, passed to each other, and won many things. But you already start there with a handicap that, given how things are, doesn't help because Madrid needs a serious reset. And about Valverde, how? How can it be that everyone deserves second and third chances, but that Ramon has heard that inside the locker room there are people who are already ruling that out even? How bad must things be? But well, like I said, I don't know him personally, but that's the impression I get. He seems like someone who isn't a bad person, but who doesn't know how to control his emotions. Another one who doesn't know how to control them, in my opinion, is Vinicius. And I also don't think Vinicius is a bad guy. But Vinicius doesn't go around attacking people. That's something I think is important. And Vinicius, with everything he is and how hot-blooded he is, he has another issue, which is the contract renewal and the 30 he's asking for, which is crazy. But well, if that doesn't get resolved, he'll have to leave one way or another if he keeps asking for the same thing. I don't think he'll keep asking for the same thing. I don't think so. But regarding the emotional aspect and about keeping him in the locker room, because I think Vinicius is easier to manage than Fede Valverde. And because of that, among other things, he doesn't go around trying to injure teammates and he doesn't get into fights with anyone. It's just that what Valverde did, the line that Valverde crossed, is so serious that I'll say it again. Some of his teammates are thinking that the best thing is for him to leave Real Madrid. Mbappé. Mbappe is something else. Mbappe is a guy. If Valverde is dangerous, Mbappe is a guy. What? He's dangerous. Mbappe is a dangerous guy. He already gave us signs of what he was doing at Paris Saint-Germain at the time, and we didn't want to see them, or maybe we did see them, but then we got excited about his signing and so on. Mbappe is a guy who shows up at the Valdebebas training ground today when Arbeloa has given them the day off and gets his picture taken. And he uploads it. Normally, if you're a serious professional, you wouldn't upload any of this and you just focus on doing your job, period. I mean, it's the same thing. The one who does quality work and all that, and it's not known, it's not noticed, and he doesn't advertise it, it's because he's doing it because he truly believes in it. And if he advertises it, it's because he wants people to know about it. Well, this is similar, right? If he advertises the fact that he came today to do his training when none of his teammates are here or it's a day off, it's because he wants people to know. Exactly. Just like he wants or wanted people to see him laughing as he left the sports complex 2 days in a row after what happened. He wanted to be photographed everywhere, not just in one photo or in a moment where he could say it was taken without him noticing. No, it happened several times and he could have avoided it. Of course, like his little trip with his girlfriend, those vacations he takes just because he feels like it. It's also not a coincidence that in the last training before the Clásico, they tell him he's going with the substitutes. And then 5 minutes before the end, he says, "Oh, my leg hurts. I can't play." And I don't even know if it's a coincidence that he posts the photo. Maybe he wanted to show I'm here. But he does it when Madrid is already losing 2-0. Hala Madrid. And his photo watching the match. By the way, he was watching it on BN Sports, which doesn't have the rights. So he wasn't in Spain because it doesn't have the rights there under Spanish law. This guy was watching it. I think I have a picture here. Hold on. It's something that really caught my attention today. This guy realized, hey, he's watching it on BN Sports. But anyway, that's the least of it. The thing is, I really don't like anything that Mbappe is doing. And of course, if we're already having doubts about Valverde staying, because of how he's handled all of this. The fact that someone like Mbappe might stay as good as he is. Madrid has had all kinds of people in its history, and we've won with jerks, without jerks, with very smart people, with very dumb people. But with a guy like this, I can't remember anything like it. He's been such a strategist and so Machiavellian. Honestly, he gives me the creeps, no matter how many goals he scores. And then you see him on the field making moves that a number 9 should never make, and that affects the team collectively. He doesn't help the team beyond the goals he scores, damn it. But of course, try selling Mbappe, try taking Mbappe out of Real Madrid now. He's got all the power. It's impossible. It's impossible. Well, let me know what you think in the comments. Give this video a like if you enjoyed it. Please subscribe to the channel, comment, share, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.